So good morning. My name is Judge Person, and I'll actually repeat myself a little bit this morning because people's audio is going to tune in at different rates. So again, I'm Judge Person, and good morning. I welcome everybody to the Temple Municipal Court. And I want to make some brief announcements before we get started. One big one is that if you're driving a vehicle and you're trying to be in a meeting at the same time, I'm going to disconnect you because it's actually not lawful to have a video screen and drive and look at the video screen. We can all understand that. Mr. Temez, I see you're a passenger, so I understand someone else is driving. So I do want to also just welcome everybody to court, let you know a few things before we get started. I'm actually going to have, there are two meetings happening today, two dockets, and I'll be basically coordinating both of those dockets. And I do want to let you know a few things before we get started. One is that if you're given sorry, I'm just trying to open up a breakout room. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. And let me turn my volume up too. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. And if you give a plea, I'm going to keep muting people. People keep unmuting themselves, but actually, if we all unmute at once, we can't have a meeting. It'll be too much interference. So everybody will have a turn to be unmuted and have their chance before the court, but I'll ask you to stay muted until your turn. Okay, so I am going to actually start the breakout room. Mr. Matson, are you here? Mr. Matson represents the state. And
yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Right, can I get you on screen? Thank you. We're going to, I actually asked that everybody be on screen. If you were in the courtroom, you wouldn't be, hiding. So we're still holding court. So I'm going to go ahead and start that meeting because attorney logged in first. Attorney with Attorney Tkach's office, Blake Stone, here on the Listeria Allen case. And gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and get y'all started. Mr. Matson is actually going to be in room 1, and Mr. Stone, I'll send you there as well. And that will actually be, sorry, I've got to make sure I send the right person. That will actually be y'all's pretrial meeting. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all get going on that. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, I was starting to say this a moment ago. With you, can everyone hear me, first of all? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Great. Thank you. So when you're thank you, that helps, because sometimes we just had a system update, and it seems like every time that happens, my speakers get challenged. So I'm just going to try to be very mindful to sit really close. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all ways that people can be accused under the law. And that's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to that accusation. And there are 3 options for entering a plea: guilty, not guilty, no contest. Guilty means I did this. You're saying I committed this offense as charged. No contest means I'm not contesting it. I'm not admitting it or denying it, but I'm not contesting the charge. Not guilty is just to maintain that innocence that the law already presumes. Our laws do presume that we're not guilty. And so if you are pleading guilty or no contest, I'm moving forward with sentencing. If you plead not guilty, you're contesting the charge. And ultimately, that just means you're asking the case to be proven against you. And that happens at a trial setting. So there's a pretrial. We have an in-court pretrial after this one. There's 2 separate things we're doing in that context. And then we schedule that case for either a jury trial or a bench trial. We'll schedule that at the next meeting here in the courtroom if the case is not resolved today. If you plead guilty or no contest, I'm going to move you towards sentencing automatically. Okay. And I've got the information you've submitted to the court, and I'll review it in connection with that. Okay. Now, I just want to also tell you there are still 4 ways to keep an item off your record, even where you plead guilty or no contest. And I want to just talk to you briefly about how those work and what those are. First, I'm going to tell you what they are, then I'm going to tell you briefly how they work. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. The law needs to specify that. Driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court are all ways that I have available as the judge to do a dismissal on a plea of guilty or no contest. Compliance cases, as I said, are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. If you have something like that, you can actually expect that I will go ahead and start trying to push towards that dismissal option and see if we can get you there. Okay, you're welcome to ask about it, but I'm not going to wait for the question because so often people don't know exactly how to ask. Okay, so you can assume that I'll be doing that, but I will ask you to for some information that might get us to that dismissal. The second option is, let me give an example. Let's say you're pulled over and the officer says you didn't put your blinker on. And then what you figure out between you and the officer is you may have engaged your blinker, but it was broken. He writes you a ticket or she writes you a ticket for a defective equipment piece. In other words, the blinker's broken. You get it fixed, you bring it to court, you prove that it's been repaired, and that defective equipment can be dismissed for a $10 fee as opposed to paying the whole ticket. Okay, so there's just one example. There are about 12 of those in the traffic code book, and I'm not going to line them all out right now for you because they might not even all be on the docket today. But that's just to give you a concrete example. A moving violation, on the other hand, option 2, a moving violation can be dismissed through a driver's safety course. There, it's kind of helpful because you pay your court costs only. Your fine goes on hold. If you get your record and your course turned in on time, you get your case dismissed. Every ticket has a court cost and a fine. And if you called the clerk and got a number, that was the whole number. But if you break that, the one way to break that down is cost and a fine. You pay the court costs, your fine goes on hold, you turn in your class and your record, you get your case dismissed off your record, and that fine that was on hold gets waived. In other words, you don't pay it. It will be cheaper to do that than to pay your whole ticket because we try to incentivize the class. We know that people drive just a little bit better for a period of time after they do that class. And so that's kind of the goal. I mean, the goal really is traffic safety. And yeah, Mr. Walters, I would suggest, let me look and see. You're actually next. So I mean, as soon as they come out, it's your turn. So I don't know. If you decide you're going to go into felony court, you're welcome to log back in when you get, but I would just say, go ahead and just turn it off and log back in. You won't lose your place in line because, you know, I know you've got to go through all that metal detection and so forth, but you actually were next. And what will happen is I'll just kind of put a placeholder until you come back. If you leave, if you stay on the meeting, then as soon as they come out of that meeting, it's you. Thanks for the message. He sent me a chat message, just he's an attorney and he's got other courts to go into, which happens. Attorneys can get double booked all over the place. And we try to be mindful. I know that's happening. That happens to people too. So if something's happening, you know, that's kind of how I handle it. If you log back in and the meeting's over, well, we'll have to figure out what we do next. Okay. But if something like that happens, send me a chat, you know. I once had someone need to go get sick, you know, so, I mean, it's just, you know, in that event, what we did is reschedule that person because they really didn't need to be on the meeting. They were unwell. So we just a little different reality when we're in this kind of setting. So anyway, just back to it all. You know, that moving violation can be dismissed through the driver safety course. And like I said, it does save you some money. The court costs are not cheap. They're set by the legislature. I don't have any control over how much those are. They range from $144 to $169. If you are otherwise eligible to be in the driver safety course program and you can't pay that amount today, I'll be asking, I'll need signatures today on everybody. And I'll be asking, when you can pay that, if that's the option that you're qualified for and that you want to do. So again, what you can expect is that I will pre-qualify you for the option for driver safety if you've pleaded guilty or no contest. And then if you don't want to do that, no one will make you. It's just if you want to do it and save money and keep it off the record. Okay, so that's option 2 for a dismissal. The third option, Mr. Matson, hi. Mr. Walters, I think might take a moment and meet with you. I don't know. He's next actually in the how things got queued up. Mr. Walters, can you hear us? Right. Are you going to go ahead and do your pretrial or are you going to come back in?
I can do a pretrial.
Okay, great. Just hold on a moment. Mr. Matson, I know you were visiting with Mr. Stone, and that was regarding the Listeria Allen case, I believe. And do we have any kind of conclusion to that offense, or are we moving, to the charge, or are we moving towards the additional pretrial?
We would like to move toward final pretrial, Your Honor, just so Mr. Stone has a chance to speak with his client.
Okay. So
I did tell him that if she can provide proof of why she has a valid reason why she missed court, I would dismiss her FTA, and then we'll figure out what to do with the speeding ticket from there.
Okay, well, I'll let you decide what you deem to be valid. Okay, but I will let y'all figure out what you're doing. If you're doing something before the pretrial date, you need to let me know, and I need final signatures before that date. That date is May 4th at 3:00. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Stone, did you have a question?
My only question is on the final pretrial date, does the client need to be to appear as well, or is it just me as well?
Yeah, I mean, you're an attorney. You decide how you want to do that.
Okay, no, some courts require clients at final pretrials, some don't. So I figured I'd
not on Class Cs.
Okay, perfect. That sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know. Some Class C courts might require it, but to me, if the rule says it's optional, then it's your choice.
I agree.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, I already sent Mr. Walters over to the other.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm keeping you on.
Judge.
Yes, Mr. Stone, you're excused. Thank you. I don't tell anyone how to practice law as long as they're practicing within the rules. Okay, and so my next thing to talk to you about is the deferral option. So deferred disposition is exactly how it sounds. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to make final. I accept your plea of guilty or no contest. If you request a deferred disposition, I will entertain that request. What that means is I delay making your case final. I delay finding you guilty. I put an order in place that will control what you need to do to gain a dismissal. It's really a list of things, mostly things not to do, like don't reoffend, don't move without telling the court, don't fail to come to court if you have court dates. And then sometimes there's a class, sometimes a record, sometimes a certificate, sometimes a license. I mean, it just kind of depends case by case. If it's granted, we will definitely be very clear with you about it. And also you'll have due dates for things. At the end of your deferral, which is anywhere from 4 to 6 months, at the end of that deferral, your case gets dismissed if you've met the conditions, the terms that are listed in your document. And then the case gets dismissed from your record, okay? To get a deferred in a Class C court, you are allowed to ask the judge directly. You may also ask the prosecutor if you're on the pretrial docket today, but you can ask either or both of us. If the prosecutor and you bring a request for deferred to me, I will consider it just like I would if you ask me on a plea of guilty or no contest. I am bound to really consider it each time. So here's the rule though. The rule about that is you have to ask when you enter your plea. So if you didn't ask on your form, maybe you didn't know what it was, or you hadn't thought about it, or you've never heard of it, which is not uncommon, you can just make sure that when it's your turn, you're asking about it, okay? Otherwise, I assume you don't want to do that, okay? So that's an assumption I make. I make several assumptions, and that's one I'm supposed to make because the law says you make the request at the time of the plea. I also assume that people would like to save money if they can. I assume that people might have concerns about their record. So that's all my comments are geared towards that. And then the final way to gain a dismissal in a Class C court from the judge is to do teen court. And teen court really has to do with being in school. It looks similar to a deferred. It works slightly differently, but it's somewhat similar. However, it is for middle school, high school, or enrolled in the equivalent type programs like GED programs, homeschool, etc. So if you are a student, I'm going to start pushing teen court to see if you want to do it. Okay. Now, I just want to clarify a couple of things. There's a gentleman logged on, not on screen right now, but he might be present. Samsung is the name of the person's screen right now. Samsung SMA426U. Could you unmute and tell me who you are? We'll see if he gets to it. And then where you are. Yes. Hi, what's your name, please? Unmute and tell me your name. Yes, I can hear you. Can you tell me your name? Gentlemen, you unmuted and you're on the Samsung device. Can you tell me your name? Can you speak?
Your Honor, are you speaking to me?
I sure am. What's your name, please?
Harold Emery.
Hi, Mr. Emery. I'm just going to change your name on the screen so that I don't lose track of you. You're in the pretrial docket today, and I have you logged in. Thank you. I'll be back with you soon. And let's see. Mr. Mattson, I think you were talking with the attorney from Mr. Walters, the Hilda Laredo case.
Yes,
And-
ma'am.
Yes.
I believe Mr. Walters is going to need to be pulled back over. He's on his phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll give him a second to connect. And there we go. So, Mr. Walters, Mr. Mattson, were y'all able to come to a conclusion, or are we heading to the final pretrial date?
We're going to take a similar approach to the Listeria case, Your Honor. We're going to go ahead and set for final.
Okay.
And I told Mr. Walters if he submits timeline of insurance proof, then we can work something out in terms of dismissing this if it's in compliance.
Okay. I usually don't get involved in that discussion, but if y'all present me with a dismissal or a deferred or something that solves the case, I just would want to get that no later than May 4th at 3:00. In fact, the day before May 3rd would be best. Okay. Otherwise, I'll expect to see everybody here in the court. Okay. And Mr. Mattson, Mr. Walters, I'm going to let you go. Mr. Mattson, I'm going to move you forward. The attorney from the McMahon office is here. I believe he was. Let me find him. There we go. And Mr. Martin, Ben Martin, I'm going to send you on over to that meeting. There we go. I did also, it should take you right over, Mr. Martin. Yeah, it looks like he moved. Just hasn't reflected yet. There we go. Mr. Mattson, he's already moved on over.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I did let someone in a moment ago, and it's looks like Leon C. Is what it says on the screen. Are you Mr. Cawley? Are you Mr. Cawley? Leon Cawley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I have you checked in. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on
Thank
the
you for allowing me to check in. I know.
Yeah, no, I know. Sometimes the technology is a little something to struggle with. So I'm glad everything's working out, and it will be your turn shortly. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, ma'am.
And then someone had logged in named Aunt's iPhone. If I could just find out your name, please.
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just trying to find out your name.
Michael Campos.
Campos, gotcha. I'm going to change your name for the purpose of this meeting only. And then with all of that, just moving right along, I'm going to go ahead and start with my docket. And just keep in mind, I'm juggling back and forth the different dockets, and everybody will have an opportunity to be heard today. Okay. So if you start getting a little too passive, just make sure you're tuning in, because when I call your name, I expect that you're listening enough to follow that. Okay. I actually tell people, like in court, it kind of helps if you listen, because you'll see how I handle things. And also you might find out more of what your options are and what I'm going to be asking of you today. But I'm going to start with Andrew Tamez. Mr. Tamez. I usually say that Tamez. Am I saying it the right way?
Yes, Tamez.
Yeah. So hi, good morning. And I wanted to ask you, I had a previous essay that I did not accept. I gave you another chance at it. It's due. It's past due now at due March 1st. And where is it? We don't have it yet. We don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have it. I did it.
Well, I mean, but you have to like turn it in. So I don't know you did it if you don't turn it in.
Yeah.
You had one that you turned in and I rejected it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you reject it?
Let's see. Let me go back to it because I want to make sure I'm talking about the right one. Yeah, I ran it through Grammarly and basically it was plagiarized. And it went to a specific person. And I rejected that. So I gave you another chance to do it.
Tell
I mean, I didn't like get it off of no website or anything.
I don't know where you got it, but it certainly wasn't your work. Nope.
Yeah, because me and my grandma.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate my ruling. I'm going to tell you right now. I do run all those things through Grammarly, and it came back as somebody else's work.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I interrupt you for a minute? My mom
Who are you?
I'm
Who are you?
Kristen Tamez,
Okay.
and this is his nana, Brenda Lowry, who actually typed it up for us and helped us because we didn't have a printer or a computer. So this came from her email. So I don't think
about what email it came from. It doesn't have anything to do with whose email it came from. It has to do with the fact that we typed it into Grammarly and it was somebody else's work. So
okay.
I rejected the essay. I would give him another opportunity to write his own essay.
Okay.
But actually he's 17 and he should do the work himself.
Right. He just needed help.
Yeah, that's all I did was help him, and I typed it up.
I don't know what happened. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm going to give him another chance unless you just want to pay the ticket.
No.
Well, I mean, no, let me be really clear here. I'm not saying that you automatically get another chance. I need to talk to Mr. Tamez. He's 17. This isn't your ticket. This is his ticket.
Here you go.
Do you want another chance to write me an essay or not?
Yeah.
I will give you a week to get it done.
Okay.
So that's actually going to be a week from, I'm going to say a week from Thursday. So it's a little more than a week, but it needs to be in by the 21st.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right.
It's the same topic. It's the same guidelines.
Okay.
Okay. I'll accept it up to that date. I've rescheduled this as a show cause. And the show cause is, has to do with trying to figure out where it failed. And now you know why I rejected that essay.
Okay.
Don't do that again. I don't know what you did and I don't want to know. But I want you to
I mean,
listen,
ma'am.
listen, if you want to argue, if you want to argue, you can argue. You can come in court and we'll have a discussion about it, or I'll give you another chance right now.
No, it's fine.
It's
You can
really
give
very simple, but I am not going to argue with you over this platform right now.
me. Okay.
All I know is what I found out.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
It was sufficiently unlike your writing and very sufficiently like a very specific person's writing online. It was not even close. I don't know
Okay.
what happened. And like
Yeah.
I said, I don't really want to know what happened. I want to
Okay.
give you another chance at it. Y'all
All right,
seem
yes, ma'am.
y'all seem to want to argue about it. And
No.
I'm going to tell you now, it's a ruling. I've made a ruling. I'm not going to debate it with you. I'll
Yes, ma'am.
explain my rulings, but I don't debate them.
Explain myself, but it's all right. Thank you.
You have a new due date on the 21st. It needs to be turned in at the court.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Go ahead and set it for Zoom. It's a show cause. But let's go ahead and set that because I'm going to make a decision that day. Okay, and just moving forward, Cameron Finley, if you will unmute and let's talk a little bit. How are you this morning, Mr. Finley?
Good.
Good. Listen, I reviewed everything that you turned in, and you're a student at Belton High School. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you a senior? Junior?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm a senior.
Oh, there you go. You told me that. So I would allow teen court, okay, which is similar. You requested driver safety. Let me tell you the difference here. With teen court, there's a $20 fee and a class. With driver safety, there's a $144 fee in the class. So I think probably, and you highlighted that you were not employed right now. I wouldn't expect you to be, or a student. Teen court takes that into account. But you'd still have to pay for the class and the $20 fee. You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you pay the $20 fee today?
Yes.
Okay. And then your course is a driving safety course you can take online or you can take around town, but it's due by the 26th of May. Can you want to agree to do that?
Yes, I can.
Okay. What I'm going to need from you, Mr. Finley, is for you to come by the court today to sign your paperwork, pay that fee, and pick up your packet showing you how to find a class. Okay. With your due date. What time can I look for you to come by?
You can go in the next, when you get dressed, you gotta go to people anyway. So probably in the next hour.
Next hour.
Okay. I'll just put down that you'll be here this morning and we'll have everything at the front desk for you. Okay.
Okay.
And it's the same place you came before. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. As long as you get your class turned in after today, after signing up, as long as you get your class turned in on time, you'll get your case dismissed and the fine waived. Okay.
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 Thank you.
So moving forward, Isa Swafford, excuse me. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay. And I didn't find out, let me just look real quickly. Where do you go to school?
I go to
New
Belton
Tech?
New Tech. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm gonna, the same thing kind of here. I'm sorry, are you a junior or a senior?
I'm a junior.
And we would look at teen court for you as well. It has an accident. There was an accident in this case.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
there's a $20 fee for teen court, a class, and then in this case, a 3-page essay too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the $20 fee is a cash payment. Can you do that payment today?
I can, yes.
Okay. And then your class and your essay would both be due by the 26th, no later than the 26th of May. The class you can take online. The essay is one that when you pick up your packet today, there'll be an assigned topic in there. And sorry?
Go on. Sorry.
Okay. And my next question really would be, can you come by this morning or this afternoon?
This morning.
Okay. So I'll have everything at the front desk for you. And if you get your essay turned in and your class turned in on time, your case will be dismissed. The class can be taken around town or online. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll just look for you at the front desk and we'll have everything.
Yes, ma'am. What's the address, if I don't mind asking? Just
401
401.
North 3rd Street.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to let you go, okay?
All right. No problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And just moving forward with Jacorium Johnson. How are you, Mr. Johnson?
Okay, and you?
I'm fine. So I did want to, let's see, I have an older case with you that has a balance. It's an older case of violating the promise to appear, a non-appearance in court. And that was probably in a payment plan. I'm not sure, I'd have to look a little deeper, but it didn't get completed. And there's a balance there of $492.70. And then today I have a plea of no contest on a no driver's license charge. And that one has a balance of 181. And is no contest your plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I also have determined that you are qualified to do community service on both of these matters. And therefore I would order community service. And let me just get you a total there. Hold on.
Well, I was gonna be able to do community service, but now I was really trying to get the total of the tickets so I can just pay them out. Because I'm not in, like, I got into a car accident and I'm not able to do community service now.
Okay, let me talk to you a little bit about that. Hold on a second. Well, just let me pause you for a quick moment because I want to keep Mr. Matson going. Mr. Matson, Mr. Martin, it looks like y'all have concluded your conversation. And we have two cases. Can we start with the new pain case?
Yes, Your Honor. We are going to go ahead and set it for final, but we have an agreement in place that we're going to hammer out in the meantime.
Okay, as long as I have everything the day before the 4th of May, that final pretrial date is May 4th at 3. But I'll cancel that if the cases are resolved. And then on the case, where are we? Logan case.
For the speeding offense, he's going to go on, I guess we'll do the same thing, just set it for final.
Okay.
And I'm sure Mr. Martin doesn't want to talk to his client, but it's going to be on a deferral.
Okay, you've made an offer. So
Yes,
he'll
ma'am.
take that to his client. And if we've resolved it before, those are both set on the same final pretrial date, just for efficiency. Okay, so Mr. McMahon, I'm sorry, you're not. Mr. Martin, do you have any questions?
You said May the 4th at 3 p.m., Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't think anyone is here from the bus firm or booth firm, but Mr. Matson, I'm actually moving you forward with Mr. Benny Fleming. And Mr. Fleming, you'll want to unmute, but I'm going to just send you on over to that pretrial meeting. After that discussion, you'll come back into this meeting, okay? Thank you. It should push him on over. There he went.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, back to you, sir. Let me ask you a question. So, so I have you right now as you don't have income coming into your home. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. How many
Okay.
hours of service would I have to do?
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that. Give me a second and I'll get you a number. So it turns into 34 hours of community service. Now, here's the thing. I've got a lot of latitude with community service, right? So right now, if you're injured and you just need some time, I can give you kind of a big window of 60 days. At the end of 60 days, if you need more time, you can come to the court or email the court. Let me know about how much more time you need. Submit any hours that you have done and ask for more time. And I almost always grant those unless I just have someone kind of stalling out. If you have a doctor who says he can never do these hours and you put that in, that doctor puts it in writing, then I look at that. I don't necessarily need a doctor's excuse to give you more time, but I would need it if the doctor is saying you're never going to be able to do these hours. The solution, if you can't do the hours, is not that you pay it, okay? It's that we look at why can't you do them? And sometimes that means more time. Sometimes that means a partial waiver. I just need to kind of know what's going on. And if it's a medical issue, then I just need a medical provider to put it in writing. So I would say, Mr. Johnson, that I would want to just start with 34 hours, not due until June 28th. And then if you need more time, you ask the court, ask me for more time in writing, and I'm going to probably give it to you. And if something else needs to be looked at, either medical or you decide, you find work that you really are doing actively and you can't get it done, we can take whatever hours you've done, convert those into a credit, and then do payments. So it's kind of, it's a little bit fluid in a way, but I mean, I
Okay.
can absolutely work with you on that as long as you're communicating with me about what's going on and giving me enough to document what I'm doing. Okay.
Okay, and do y'all like have anything like to help people on assistance that receive assistance?
So
Like in paying tickets?
this is what we have available, is what I'm doing with you now. But as far as like, do we have a program to help people with food and housing and stuff like that?
Get their driver license.
Oh, So maybe your old case, it might be holding up your license. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay. So I do have kind of, it's a pretty thick packet of stuff, and it's how to get your license back. Okay. And what I'm going to suggest is that, can you get to the court this morning?
Yes, it'll be afternoon because I stay in Cameron.
Okay. Can someone give you a ride here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll make a note that you're coming in this afternoon. Okay. And then I've got that little packet, I want to recall your warrants. Okay. I want you to sign for your community service. That's a pretty big packet. And then I want to give you this packet of how to get your license back. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Part of it is getting the hold that this court has off. And the way that we do that is just to get that balance zeroed out. So community service is usually the fastest way, but I'm recognizing that you're injured. So let's kind of work on that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And talk to your doctor about it too, and see when you might be released and if you're going to be released. Okay. And I'm sorry you had the accident. I don't like hearing that, but anyway, so I'll work with you. Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll have everything at the front desk for you. Do you have any further questions?
No, that'll be all.
Okay. You take care, okay?
All right. Thank you too.
Bye-bye. Okay, just moving forward. Just a moment. Justin Hartle, you were here. Let me get you to unmute for me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you today?
Doing all right, and you?
I'm doing fine. I
Perfect.
reviewed everything that you gave me. And are you still at O'Reilly?
Oh, yes, correct.
Okay. I can go ahead and approve. I mean, you had asked for $100 a month, and I can do that.
Okay, perfect.
Can you make a payment today?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what I would suggest is come on in and sign for your payment plan. I'll recall the warrants, okay? And make the payment, and then it'll just be every month on the 12th.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
What time will we look for you today?
I'd say within the next 3 hours.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, and we'll see you at the front desk, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, moving forward, let's see. I had Chelsea Jones. Are you still here? There you are. I haven't seen you yet. Hi, can you get onto the video? Hi, how are you, Miss Jones?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm fine. Let me get your case pulled up. And let's see. This one was a sale of tobacco to a minor. And you had asked for a payment plan. I'm missing, it's kind of weird. I got the last part of your payment application, but the first page was not in what got.
Oh yeah. I think the clerk lady, she actually emailed me like last week, I think, because she had forgot to, I guess, file it or something. And then I was supposed to go up there and redo it, but then I ended up forgetting.
Okay, where are you working?
Right now, I just left that liquor store, so I'm not there right now.
So you don't have income at this time?
No, I don't, but I can make payments still.
Okay. You have someone helping you, or you have savings?
Yes, ma'am. We have a savings.
Okay. I can, do you still want to pay $200 a month? That seems kind of high right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty
So
high. Yeah.
I can change that to, can you make a $50 payment today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we can just do that every month?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Can you come on up and sign your payment plan today and get a copy of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna have you finish that front page, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm just making a note. Okay, Miss Jones. I'll have that at the front for you to fill out, okay? And then I'll just go ahead and approve that, and they'll get that payment plan ready for your signature. Will you be in this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll have everything there at the window, okay?
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jones. You have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Moving forward, that does it for my docket. So I'm just gonna, let's see, make sure Ant's iPhone, remind me your name again. Is that Campos, Mr. Campos?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I get you on screen too? In video? Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
So listen, the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, let's see, I've got a new charge, and the new charge is called possessing, using, or selling fireworks. And
Yes, ma'am.
this is from December 31st, and it has a balance of $631. How are you pleading to that charge?
Well, I
Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
was gonna say no contest, but because I wasn't aware that it was illegal to pop fireworks. I mean, I've done it all my life, and I found out that day that it was illegal, and I was like, I kind of thought I should have got a warning for it, but I just understand. So I mean, there's nothing else that I feel like I could really do about it.
Okay, so pleading no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we also had community service with you, and it
Yes.
wasn't turned in. And that's heading back to warrant. So I'm trying to get that squared away. Did you do your hours?
No, ma'am, I have not. I haven't had the time to do any of that because I've been working a lot, and I'm currently in a situation I'm getting evicted, so I have to work as much as I can, and I have no time to do any kind of community service. So I can see if there's any way possible that I could just set up a payment plan.
Yes. Where are you working?
Right now, I work for a landscaping company,
Okay. What's the name of the company?
ACS Home and Commercial Services.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is ask you, can you pay $50 today?
Yes, ma'am, I can do that.
Okay. You want to do that every week?
Every week?
Sorry, every other week?
Yes, that'd be better for me every other week.
Yes. Okay. And I'm gonna just approve that. I need you to actually fill out an income information sheet when you get here. When can we look for you, this morning or this afternoon?
Sometime this afternoon.
Okay. I'll put a note for you to fill out that form and then make that first payment. And then it'll be every 2 weeks after that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have any questions?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Campos.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
You're good to go. Mr. Mattson, I know that you were talking with Mr. Fleming, and are we at a point where we have maybe a conclusion, or are we heading forward to trial?
We're going to go ahead and set for final, Your Honor, but
Okay.
Mr. Fleming is going to bring some documents to the court by the end of the week.
Okay, and we're routing those to you, Mr. Mattson?
Yeah, I can look at them on LT, or if they're sent to me on email, that's fine too.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Fleming, do you know how to get documents over to the court? You can, sorry, you'll unmute.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm just gonna carry it over there, ma'am.
That'll work. We'll scan them in and we'll let Mr. Mattson know.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
right now, we're scheduled for May 18th at 1 o'clock, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming.
Okay. Bye-bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye, sir. Okay, Mr. Mattson, moving you forward. Janerka Williams, I believe. Nika Williams, are
Yes,
you also,
ma'am.
is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it says Nika. Are you Nika or are you Jornika?
It's Jornika.
Okay, and then you just go by Nika.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
sorry. I'm now on the page.
That's
Thank
okay.
you. Okay, sending you over to that meeting. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And then after that, we'll have Mr. Emery and then Mr. Pauly. Sorry, no show on Elizabeth Mace. It's a no show and refusal on the one is what a disaster. Oh, Mr. Matson, I didn't mean to unmute you. Am I moving Miss Williams back over?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Okay, no problem. Okay, there we go. And Miss Williams, Mr. Matson, are we moving forward? Or are we resolving?
We're resolving, Your Honor. I'm moving for a dismissal on this one. Miss Williams has already submitted a photo of her placard and her driver's license to the court.
Okay, in that event, since we have it already, I'll go ahead and do that dismissal and email it to Miss Williams, Mr. Matson. You don't have to send an additional one to us.
Thank you, Your
Okay,
Honor.
thank you.
Okay, Miss Williams, we'll just use the email that we have
Okay.
on file for you. And hold on one moment. I'm then moving Mr. Emery, Harold Emery forward. Mr. Emery, can you hear me? Great. You're muted, but you can unmute, and I'm going to go ahead and move you over to that meeting, okay?
Okay.
All right. And then Ms. Williams, I'm going to go ahead and let you go.
Okay.
But yes, but what I'll tell you is I'll email you that dismissal. Mr.
Okay,
Matson, he moved on forward. There we go. He did it. All right. You're good to go, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay. We can do that one in the courtroom. It should be in the file. And on Jackson, it's all campus profile cases. And I'm waiving fines and costs. She's in a domestic violence shelter. So I can go ahead and sign all that today. Release her license. I think that Miss Alvera can't, I think they just have technical problems. Let me see this. Yes, he's making a payment today. Approved. And starts. I think these folks have some difficulty with the technology. They didn't necessarily this time, but I don't think they're going to be able to manage it. And so I think we'll have to get them to come on in and do documents with the case manager. This person didn't show, but I'm going to accept their pleas and order community service. I can't time serve them. They went to jail 2 years after. 2 years before the offense was alleged to have even happened. So that's not going to work out. But
Can you pull Mr. Emery back over, Your Honor?
yeah, I already sent it. Just waiting for it to happen. Hi, Mr. Emery. Okay. Mr. Mattson, Mr. Emery, are we heading to trial or are we heading to a resolution?
We are heading to trial, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Emery, we'll see you in the court on May 18th at 1 o'clock, okay? That's a date that we're going to do all the pretrial matters and set bond and all this. Okay, we'll see you then. You're muted, but I'm assuming you said yes, and I'll let you go. Mr. Colley? Hi. I'm going to ask you to unmute. And Mr. Matson, Mr. Colley has a screen where he looks at everything above him. That's why he's looking up, because he's
Okay.
working from that screen. Mr. Colley, I'm going to send you on over to that meeting.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I'm unmuted.
Okay,
There we go. Yeah, I found it.
it's
I'm
all
not
good.
real good at this phone.
You've done very well. We'll see you on the 18th, okay?
May the 18th at 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir. We'll see you here in the court, but that's not a trial. It's a brief, it's about a 15 to 20-minute meeting, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll do some paperwork and then you'll be good to go until we get the trial date.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. You have a great day and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Emery. Same to
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. This one seemed on time on the other, so he can have 30 days. I don't know why they set him, but. I don't either. If he wanted to talk to me, he maybe didn't feel ultimately the need to, so it's all good. Um, do you want us to defer to you once I approve them? Still? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. How are you, Officer Parker? better is. Sure. Charles? Yeah, I can start making my. Yeah. What now? She's indigent. And it's a hardship. I mean, I could say that she's performing it, but then we have to write that on everything. And frankly, it is a hardship in that situation. Add something else. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, where are we with this matter?
All right, Your Honor. So what we were looking at here is 1-for-1. First, I want to know if Mr. Cawley is eligible for community service.
Yes.
Okay, so I told him I would dismiss his speeding offense and he could do community service on the invalid license.
Okay.
And he has been experiencing some issues with his license being suspended. So he's going to try and work on getting that reinstated while going through the community service process.
Okay. Are we doing something like a deferred, or are we just doing a straight hit? What? When you say that, I'm wondering if I'm trying to collect something in the middle of a deferral. Is that what that is, or?
Can a deferral be linked to community service?
You can do deferral. The fines and costs are ordered on community service. I'm not sure what you're asking, but I can do a deferral. Community service would be a condition because it's instead of payment. And then if you wanted him to try to get his license, I can give him a license information packet, see if he can get a license or an occupational license in the first 4 months of that deferral of 6 months.
Okay, I think that would be the best approach.
Mr. Cawley,
Yes, ma'am.
So what the state is recommending, and this is subject to if you agree, they are willing to dismiss the speeding charge and have you do a deferral on the driving while license invalid charge. One condition of that license invalid charge will be 14 hours of community service for the payment in lieu of the payment.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
also that you get either your license or an occupational license by August 30th.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I have a license information packet for how to go about getting your license that I'll give you at the front desk as
I
well.
was telling Mr. Manson that I never received any documentation whatsoever that my license had been suspended.
Yeah,
Had I
that can
actually-
happen. That sometimes can happen. And DPS is who you get with on that. But
Okay.
what they're going to tell you flat is that
We've seen
they
issues.
proceed. They send a notice to the address they have on file, and whether you receive it or not, they take action, and it looks like they've done that. So,
Right.
you know, he's willing to dismiss the one charge. If you want to do a deferred on the other, it would keep it from being a conviction on your record. I'm not going to tell you, I can't tell you whether it will impact your record or not, because deferreds are reported to the state. We have to do that. But it's the best offer that I can see on that. If you want to do that, we would need you to come by and get a signature, pick up a copy of your dismissal, and
Yes,
we'd give you the information for how to get a license, and give you the information for how to get your community service done and turned in. That's going to be due by June 28th.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
license due by August 30th. The deferral ending by October 27th.
Okay.
And what you'll find in the packet that I give you for the deferral is that if you'll be able to look up your license and figure out what's happened to it and why, what
Right.
you need to do to get it reinstated.
Yes, ma'am.
And if there are any further suspensions that happen, then you would want to get an occupational license.
Right.
So I'm going to encourage you, I would encourage you to get on this license packet quickly,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you'll be able to tell if you need the occupational or something, you know.
Yes, your clerk printed me up a document that from what she could find on the DPS website. And it's a SR suspension liability judgment, apparently for an accident that happened back in 2018.
Okay.
I was talking to Mr. Madsen, and I was like, well, how could they do that? Because if I'm correct in stating that Texas state statute says they have 2 years to sue. If they don't have 2 years to sue, or if they don't sue within 2 years, then basically.
It really doesn't have to do with if a party sued you. What
Right.
that has to do, if you want me to tell you, I will. But so if you were cited for an accident and it was deemed to be your fault, and the person, they may have sued you. I don't know.
Right. It's the
and
insurance.
you may not
company.
know. But
Yes,
what I
ma'am.
can tell you is that this court has nothing to do with that.
Oh, yes, I understand that. I
So,
understand that the court
and the
has-
law enforcement officer is entitled to cite you for that if your license is suspended. But what you can find out, and the packet will help you, is how to go about releasing that. If the person is not interested in pursuing you anymore, there's a way to get it resolved. And if they are, then there's a way to get that resolved. But one thing's for sure, it isn't going to go away. So
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yeah.
I was just trying to understand how after 5 years they can turn around and pass judgment after 5 years. I mean,
Well, it depends on when they pass judgment. And once they pass judgment, if they did it and with or without objection some things will depend on that. And
Right.
once they have a judgment, they can renew that judgment every 7 years for a
Oh,
really
wow.
long time. So
Okay.
it's not as easy as a 2-year statute of limitations.
Right.
It's not as easy as that. It's a little more complicated.
Okay.
This
Thank
will help you.
I
And And
I
we're,
appreciate- Yeah, I'm sorry.
so part of your dismissal is going to be required that you do all that homework and get it sorted out.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's only going to help you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have all that at the front desk. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And what time will we see you today?
Sometime this afternoon, I might have to find a ride.
Okay, great. We'll see you this afternoon at the front desk.
All right, thank you.
All right. You're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Have a good day.
Too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Mattson, we're probably not going to see you until, let me end the public meeting because we're